Since I bloomed beyond perfectionism, I have been the most expansive that I have ever been. And I gotta laugh here because I have truly expanded my consciousness, my energetic field, my opportunities, my everything to such an extent that it feels like I'm living a totally different life. Like I'm embodying a totally different version of myself. I was looking at photos of myself from the past the other day, and I don't even recognize myself. I might look a little similar, but I also know that the mindset that I had was very different. I was way more contracted in the way that I approached everything because I thought that everything had to be a certain way, that everything had to be so strict, that there were several rules and kind of limitations and limits that had to be kind of met in order to create something or make certain decisions or choices. And so I was constantly kind of like closed up. I wasn't as expansive as I am now, where I'm kind of more open. And when you open your energetic field, it's actually an energetic shift that's happening. So your energy is basically not as kind of contracted and tight together. And so more opportunities can come your way. So I've gone from being contracted to being expansive, and my energy field has opened. And so I've attracted all sorts of opportunities and that I couldn't have if I operated from the place of pushing, proving, pleasing, from the place of not setting boundaries around my energetic field, from the place of procrastinating and controlling and having excessively high standards and expectations and attachment to outcomes. You see, when you are operating from that place of perfectionism, there are so many limitations that you put onto things, onto yourself, onto others, and onto this reality. And you begin seeing yourself as way more separate, because if you're pushing and proving and placing, by default, you're seeing yourself as separate to something because you feel that need, that you need to prove yourself, that you need to push and force things into place when maybe they're not meant to, yeah? Because nature has made us that intelligent that we actually feel repelled towards that which we have outgrown. We shed, we release that which is no longer in alignment, just like a tree, just like a sunflower. It wilts and falls, and then, that is the cycle. Wilt, fall, root, rise, and bloom. But when you have perfectionism, you have a resistance to that. And so, a flower, it expands naturally, doesn't it? It expands when it is rooting, rising, and blooming. And when, it passes away, so to speak, it wilts and falls. So that is kind of the journey of life. But it's when you have resistance to that you contract your energy field. And these opportunities, they are there, but you don't see them because you're so kind of like blindsided and focused onto all the things that you got to do, all the things in your to-do list, all the things that you're meant to and should attend to, that obviously you don't have that kind of expansiveness. So how does that even show up then, that I'm expansive right now? And how can you begin to choose to expand your energetic field? It actually begins in your mind, in your subconscious mind. It begins by you seeing yourself as an individual, as a person, as a light, a sunflower, a bloomer that is a spirit having a spiritual experience in this human body, right? You're like, you are having this wonderful experience. And for you to actually shine your light, for you to expand, for you to call in opportunities, you got to see yourself as that you're not your body, you're a spirit in a body. And when you see it like that, you can kind of actually attract other like-minded people, which are basically also spirits, that are light, that are sunflowers and bloomers. And you can kind of repel those that are not in alignment with your path, your journey. It's very simple like that. So it starts with you seeing yourself as such an individual that shows up as expansive instead of contracted. When you begin seeing yourself like that, you begin acting from that place. So identity shift is necessary for you to begin acting differently. Don't focus on the behaviors, focus on your identity, who you see yourself as being, and act as if, so to speak. And then the more you do that repeatedly, you will actually become that which you do. Because we're habitual beings, and what we do over and over again, that is what we become, no matter what it is, no matter what we're talking about. So identity shift first. Then put yourself in situations, put yourself in circumstances and in environments that support that in which you truly are. Because when you are in that environment, in that circumstance, in that place, you will feel even more expansive because you're in an environment that feels supportive to you. And you want to then do that so that that energetic field gets an opportunity to call in that which you feel in resonance with. So, for instance, for me, I wouldn't place myself in Antarctica or some place like that because I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't place myself in a cabin in some, on some mountaintop skiing because that is not, in alignment with the expansive version of me that actually likes to be by the ocean and in the jungle. And as of right now, as of this recording, this is what feels most expansive. Sometimes, eventually, when you have integrated that, you can begin exploring. You can begin putting yourself in other environments because you feel that inner sense of support to be expansive no matter where you are. So as of right now, of this recording, I'm in London. London is probably a little bit more materialistic in that sense, but there are still people here that I resonate with and call in, and that I did not expect meeting at all. But because I have an open energetic field, they come to me. I don't have to force myself or go someplace or this and that. I call them in, even in my apartment complex. Suddenly there's this person that comes up and is so in alignment, and it's so beautiful. I'm just absolutely stunned by how the universe presents these opportunities, people, and places in my life. So yeah, I'm here, and it's not about the city that it's materialistic. It's about a lot of people here tend to have that consciousness of thinking that materialistic things can satisfy you and satisfy your flesh, when in reality, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that at all. At all. But I can be here and have my expanded level of consciousness and still be here and observe that, as that is something that I thought too back in the days. Not anymore. Not anymore. But I'm still able to be me in my essence, in my core, and continue to be expansive and call in the beautiful, bright, brave, and balanced people that are in alignment to that. So that is what I wanted to channel to you today, right now. Choose expansiveness. Choose seeing yourself as someone who is expansive, and from there, put yourself in environments that are supportive of that expansive version of you. And even if you don't think that you can, or that you're able to be in those environments right now because of certain, you know, things that you might feel is blocking you to do so, dare to take the risk. Dare to be courageous, to do it anyways. Because guess what? You will expand even further. You will. You are. You can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to apply to join our Bloom Beyond tribe as well, which is a community and really support system to be able to bloom beyond perfectionism, bloom beyond this contracted state of being a pushing, proving, and placing things in order to step into that expansive light, sunflower, and bloomer that you truly are. Yeah? You'll receive coaching and support from me as well and learn more about how you can overcome perfectionism, overcome this contraction, and choose expansion instead. You'll then be able to be part of a free monthly cohort in there too. And there's a waiting list to join. So make sure to go ahead and apply. Go to bloombeyond.com/apply to apply, and we might see you on the other side. And so it is. Stay expansive, stay bright, brave, and balanced.